Heroin kills someone in Wisconsin every 44 hours, and law enforcement has been struggling to fight what it calls an epidemic.
Young, old, rich, poor, they say heroin plays no favorites. But one Waunakee family says the justice system does. News 3 investigative reporter Adam Schreger explains.
Eric and Michelle, state law provides judges with some discretion on criminal sentences. In the case we're sharing with you tonight, the facts are not in question. One man sold heroin to another who used it and then died. Prosecutors recommended the defendant go to jail. The pre-sentence investigator suggested the same thing. The fact the Dane County judge agreed with the defense lawyer and issued a sentence of probation is not out of the ordinary. But the relationship between that judge and the defendant's father is.
It's difficult to talk about this, and it opens up fresh wounds for wounds that'll never close. Every one of you guys that's here knew and loved Colin and helped to try and take care of him.
Gary Campbell wears his son's memory emotionally and physically.
When I really let myself think about him, I get a shortness of breath. I get physical manifestations that are hard to overcome.
21 years old with a gift for making people smile.
Anybody knew Colin, that's Colin right there. He didn't die in a back alley with a bunch of heroin addicts. He died at home with his family.
Colin Campbell died September 17th, 2012 from a drug overdose.
$25 worth of heroin is all it took to kill Colin.
Colin bought the heroin from Quentin Endel the day before he died.
I can't help but think, had they pressed charges in a more timely fashion, that it would have worked out completely differently.
More than a year and a half after Colin died, charges were filed. They came a few months after Quentin completed probation for 2 separate disorderly conduct offenses.
I don't want to see him go to prison for the rest of his life. I don't want to see his life ruined. But there needs to be some message sent to society that this isn't acceptable.
Endel pled guilty to 2 felony manufacture and delivery of heroin charges. Prosecutors asked for a 2-year jail sentence.
I went to that court hearing believing that he probably was going to go away for some time.
Todd Endel is Quentin's father. He knows Colin's death changed his son.
He wanted to die. He tried to kill himself overdosing heroin, and it didn't work. So there's a reason why he's here, and he believes that, and I believe that.
Rehab finally took, and for the last 2 years, Quentin's been clean, living and working in Arizona while helping other addicts beat heroin.
I'm real proud of him. He's kind of like a hero to me.
During the sentencing in September, almost 2 years after Colin died, Dane County Judge David Flanagan told these 2 fathers, in 15 years as a judge, he'd never before seen such a determined and productive effort to turn a young life around. I have to acknowledge, he said, the promise that this effort suggests. He sentenced Quentin to a longer probation than recommended, but no jail time.
There's no justice for Colin. Colin's dead. So there's no justice for him.
Heroin kills someone in Wisconsin every 44 hours. It doesn't play favorites, even if Gary Campbell believes the court did.
I can't help but think that there's a possible conflict of interest.
A conflict of interest because Todd Endel once served Dane County's judges as a bailiff. Judge Flanagan twice brought this up during the trial, saying he'd worked in his courtroom and he asked if prosecutors had concerns. They said they did not, even if the Campbells now believe it led to what they call a lenient sentence.
One could say that, but I don't feel that it did. I didn't directly ever work for Judge Flanagan on an everyday basis. I worked for all the 17 judges up there for, I don't think it was about 6 years.
It's poison, and we're letting people peddle poison to our children.
The Campbells remain conflicted over Judge Flanagan's sentence of probation, and they're not interested in hearing a rationale behind it.
The message that they sent is you can get away with this, that it's okay, that, you know, it's forgivable, and it's not.
I really feel for the Campbell family. I don't blame them for being upset or lose faith in the justice system.
Faith is challenging for those who loved Colin Campbell because real justice would mean heroin didn't win.
I didn't get to send my son to rehab. I didn't get to fight with him. I didn't get to try and argue some sense into him. When I knew it was too late, he was dead.
Now, Todd Endel isn't with the Sheriff's Department anymore, and he also said he did not speak with Judge Flanagan before the sentencing. We did speak with Judge Flanagan recently. He said his comments at the sentencing would serve as his statement of record. Now, the Attorney General could have requested that they move the case out of Dane County, but a spokeswoman for the office said it did not appear at the time that there was, quote, a legitimate reason to object to Judge Flanagan hearing this case. Michelle and Eric?
Boy, certainly a very tough and sensitive story. Adam, thank you for that report.